So, look, being 33 weeks pregnant, it is hard to choose an outfit.
So I'm not mad about it. You look great.
How many points did I get? We're competitive, everyone.
Don't make it competitive, all right?
What's your grief stats?
When Dad would take us to school, he'd often pray with us and invite us, to pray in the car.
I love because he first loved us.
That's right.
Yeah.
When I found out that you were coming to play the game, I was excited by the mention that Kaylee was coming to play. So I already was like, oh yeah, okay.
So men really appreciated it, but me as a woman didn't really appreciate it.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Good Grief. I'm joined today by my beautiful wife, Kaylee. Good to see you again.
Thanks so much.
I see you 24/7. It's still good to see you. That's a good thing. Today we're going to be answering the question, who are we and what are our grief stats?
Who are we?
A little bit behind the curtain, behind the scenes. Many of you who are probably listening to this episode haven't heard all of the 22 episodes before this.
Yeah. You've missed some pieces.
Yeah. I mean, recommend going back and listening.
Do recommend.
But we're going to try and cover some of that so catch you up to speed. And then also, if you have listened to all 22, high five to you.
Yeah.
But
Virtual high five.
But there's going to be new stuff in this episode that you don't know.
Yes. It's a little lucky dip today, isn't it? For everybody.
So, and we happen to be both wearing our blue outfit today.
We do. So, look, being 33 weeks pregnant, it is hard to choose an outfit, and it's 34 degrees Celsius today right now. So I chose the most flowiest, easiest thing to wear, not thinking that Ryan was already in a blue shirt. And something you need to know is that, we do that sometimes. We'll be getting ready. Ryan will have already got changed and I haven't seen what he's wearing. I'm doing my makeup.
I've been wearing a blue shirt all day. I'm
talking about other times.
We've been working and awake for 6 hours or probably 5 hours. I've been wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah, and I don't think, what is Ryan wearing when I go to choose my outfit?
So I'm not mad about it. You look great.
So do you. I like that blue on you.
Thanks. It could be a bit longer, when I stand up, but that's all right. I'll have to find another blue shirt. Anyway, should we do it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
So I guess to get straight into things, we've got 5 questions for each other to give a bit of a backstory as to what our grief stats are.
Yeah, we're calling this grief stats.
We call them grief stats, inspired by Hamish Blake from How Other Dads Dad. He's had a mention previously.
Aussie comedian legend.
And he talks about dad stats.
Yes.
And I thought,
we could do grief stats.
Yeah.
Why not?
Quick snapshot. And so, are you ready? Okay, first question.
Okay.
What are your grief stats? Who, when, and how?
Yep. So, who? My mother, my beautiful mother. When? 8th of March.
We're going to say 1980 something.
I don't know what I was going to say.
I'm glad you know your stats.
I was just planning something on the 9th of March. So, 8th of March, 2013. It was a Friday. And how?
Huh. I didn't know it was a Friday.
Didn't you?
There you go. Dad died on a Friday as well.
That's so crazy.
I mean, there's only 7 days you can die on, so I guess it's a 1 in 7 chance.
Still, those odds. That's
Anyway.
our story gets crazier.
Okay, so who? Mum Claudette.
Mum Claudette.
March 8th,
March
2013.
8th, 2013. Friday.
And how?
How? She was in palliative care with cancer. Yeah.
All right. Now talking about your mum, what's your favourite way to remember her?
I think it'd have to be doing things that she loved. That makes me feel closer to her. Whether it's cooking or celebrating things how she celebrated. She was a big celebrator, so she was larger than life personality and was just very good at celebrating, whether it's birthdays or Christmas, Easter, whatever. Yeah.
Cool. All right. What are 3 words that you used to describe her?
That's really hard. I would describe my mum as infectious. Yeah, her personality and her laughter. She was encouraging. Yeah, you wouldn't walk away from an encounter with her without feeling better about yourself. And she was godly.
Nice.
Yeah.
So good. It's hard, isn't it? 3 words.
Yeah.
How are you?
I feel like I'm on a game show.
Yeah, it's a bit of game show vibes. Love a good game show. How are you continuing her legacy?
I'd say with good grief. Yeah. This is totally up her alley, totally what I think, yeah, she'd be encouraging me to do, even if she was still here, if she, but she was all about helping people. Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
All right, 5th question, final one. What's something that somebody did after your mum died that was really touching, special, or beautiful?
Sometimes those days can be blurry, but a beautiful friend of mine at the time just really helped out with Mum's celebration service, and she just got in there and did things for us just without asking, like just took it on, and just knew that would be helpful.
So needed.
And it was.
Yeah.
It was so nice to not have to think about some of those things, and she just did it.
Yeah. Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Well done.
All right.
I think if there was a prize, you've won already.
Oh,
If
please.
it was a game show.
How many points did I get?
5 out of 5. I don't know. We haven't talked about points, so don't make this competitive.
We're competitive, everyone.
Don't make it competitive, all right?
Can't help it. All right. It's on you. What's your grief stats? Who, when, and how?
My dad, Chris, and when was the 9th of November, 2012. So
Ding, ding, ding. You got it right.
I am known to get that date wrong.
Because his birthday is
His birthday is the
September
11th.
11th.
Yeah, 11th of September. So they're literally the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So, it was a few months before your mum.
Yes.
And before we knew each other.
Literally 4 months. Yeah, crazy.
And how he died in a plane crash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him and his co-pilot,
Yeah.
Michael. So,
Tragic one.
that's my grief stats.
Grief stats. Got it. Thank you. What's your favourite way to remember him?
The first thing that came to my mind was putting on Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just first thing. I mean, there's so many ways, but I can...
That's how I remember your dad.
Yeah, you don't even know him. Like,
yeah, I guess you've done that a lot.
Yeah.
Enough to influence me in
that's
our
pretty
5
cool.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Elvis, anything Elvis, whether it's a movie, whether it's music, whether it's, I went and visited his home.
Graceland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, that's it. The king of rock and roll.
And your dad dressed up as him. So I've seen so much footage and videos for, was that his 50th?
I think it was 40th, yeah.
40th.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Elvis the King, you just nailed it. What are 3 words you would use to describe him?
I chose loved God daily.
Oh, okay, like that.
In a sentence, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Reason being was everything I saw and experienced. Like I can just remember going to school. Like when Dad would take us to school, he'd often pray with us and invite us, to pray in the car. And I can remember that. I can remember when things didn't go well, or family weren't well, or business didn't go well. He would pray. I know that in his office, he spent more time with people. He helped people find cars and, got their cars back on the road and so forth. But he would spend more time with people in his office loving them than he did talking about cars. And so I just think, he read his Bible daily. He would tell me he would drive to Brisbane, which was an hour away, a couple of times a week. And he said he just used that time to pray. And so I think loved God daily, is
Fitting.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
How are you continuing his legacy?
I was going to say this as well, good grief. So same answer as
Well,
you.
I mean, I think for other people who haven't heard as well, I think our parents were a similar kind of personality. They were...
I know. I often think it'd be crazy to have them together in a room just for like an hour and just to see the chemistry and how wildly similar but different they were.
Just imagine my mum's laugh. Like, they'd just be cackling, telling jokes and bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So continuing legacy, I would say this, but then coming back to that previous question, I'd just say loving people. Yeah, I often will say that I know how to love because of how Dad loved and like how I saw that within our family, with his family, with friends, with strangers. That's how I'm continuing his legacy.
It's like that scripture. I love because he first loved us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really quiet.
I couldn't even hear that. I was like, you said that scripture, and I was
that scripture.
And then you whispered it. I was like,
I love because he first loved us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's actually 1 John 3:16. This is how we know what love is, that Christ first loved us.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool.
Reason why I know that scripture so well is because, and this is a little inside backstory for everybody, we actually graffitied that. When I was young, we graffitied that on like this big like street sign.
Illegally?
Well, I don't know if, yeah. Yes.
Yes, okay. We didn't ask permission.
Don't report this into the police. But the reason why the street sign, like the two streets made this huge cross. And so we actually wrote it within the streets. Like, yeah, if everyone can think of like a freeway, like a motorway sign that hangs on a bridge, for example, they're green usually, and they've got the streets with lines. Yeah. On the white cross, we wrote that scripture.
Oh, right.
And it lasted for years. So
okay.
Anyway.
Around here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'll point it out.
You'll have to point it out.
Anyway.
All right, last one.
Don't report me to the police. I don't think they'll care anyway, and you can't prove it. So
what's one beautiful thing someone did to support you guys?
Yeah, I think my best buddy, Simon, who was there through it all. You know, we've been mates 22 years or so. Journeyed through a lot. And I think it was just time. He gave me time, a shoulder to cry on, and got me out of the house. And I think those three things, when formally, he might not have known how to support me, it was just giving me time, giving me an ear to hear, and then just sometimes forcing me and getting me out of the house. That's what I needed. And man, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Sometimes we don't need words, we just need action.
Totally.
Yeah.
How did I go?
Well, look, I was impressed that you got the day right, so you get bonus points for that.
But close second.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's something that we'll probably incorporate when we speak with more and interview more people.
Yeah.
I think we'll ask them about their grief stats.
Good snapshot way.
Yeah, if people want to hear that.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, let us know. All right. These questions are actually on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah. We asked the crowd.
Yeah. We didn't phone a friend. We didn't go 50-50. Or did we phone a friend? No, we asked the audience.
Yeah, we
asked the audience.
Yeah.
And these came in from Instagram, from our Facebook group, and really cool. We just said, ask us anything.
Yeah, what do you want to know about us?
Yeah, it can be grief related, but it can also just be about stuff.
Yeah. About us.
Yeah. So hopefully this gives you a bit more insight into Kaylee and Ryan. So, right, first one for you, no particular order. This is from Karen. Where did you first meet?
Well,
And was it love at first sight?
That's funny. Okay, Karen.
Let's do the condensed version, all right? I'll just preface that.
Yeah. So Ryan and I would probably have different answers for this because we quarrel.
You go for it.
On it.
Go, send it.
But we were on a mixed touch football team. So there's another church and they had a mixed team and we were both ring-ins from our church, and yeah, we were playing, and we're on the same team, and that's how we met.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And was it love at first sight?
Yeah, was it love at first sight?
No.
No for you.
No for me.
No for you.
Yeah, okay, how would you answer that?
I've told you this, yes. Like, when I found out that you were coming to play the game, because I'd been playing on that team more, I was excited by the mention that Kaylee was coming to play.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I already was like, oh yeah, okay. And then yeah, you played. We got chatting after the game. We kept chatting for 3 hours until it was way too late. And I knew on that night, because I called Mum, or she called me like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm talking to a girl." She's like, "Oh, sorry." Like, yeah, I was pretty much like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, you asked me on a date that night.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
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 So
we kept texting till midnight, and then
love at first sight for me, not for you.
not for me. Look, guys, Ryan had a beard. Like, we just recently watched one of his YouTubes from his old band, and someone said it was a beard of the gods. So, like, men really appreciated it, but me as a woman didn't really appreciate it. I could see through it. I could see potential, but it wasn't love at first sight.
Yeah, if you know who Ned Kelly is, famous in Australian history.
Yeah.
Yeah, people called me Ned Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Karen. Great question.
How long have we been married?
Coming on 4 years.
Yeah.
In a couple of months. Yeah. So been together 5 years, married 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to continue if you are. Like,
oh,
if you are,
is that what this is?
you wanna
yeah, sure. Let's keep
renew?
going.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Yeah. Favorite thing about each other? Thanks, Tyra.
Thanks,
Good-
Tyra.
Good friend of ours.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did I yell at before? How am I supposed to think of my favorite thing of you?
I know, it's really hard.
It's so hard. You go first.
My favorite thing about you is that you never have a bad word to say about anybody. Like, you're always finding the best in people. And I just think that's such a quality that I admire. I love that about you.
Oh, wow. That surprises me. Maybe all the bad things are in my head. Thank you. My mum was good at that. I try. My favorite thing about you is
1 hour later. Hey guys, we're just back. We've just cut the clip because Kaylee was thinking. We've had lunch and we're back now.
you care deeply. Yeah, I'm very thankful that you're a caring person. Yep. No matter whether we've just met them or whatever, you're always trying to think how you can be kind and caring for them.
That's cool. I think how cool is that? I think there's their qualities of our parents that we've sort of just kind of mentioned. That's what we thought about each other. That's awesome. Okay. How long have you been Christian?
Well, I mean, I grew up in a Christian family, so I was raised this way, but I was baptized when I was 5. So you could call
by
that.
choice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I specifically remember my dad asked, it was at church camp, and I remember they put it out there, like, if anyone wants to get baptized in the ocean, let us know.
so
if you
cool.
want to receive Jesus into your heart. And I just remember being like, yes, I do. And my dad was like, Kaylee, are you sure you know what this means? And I was like, yes, Dad.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
How about you?
Yeah, I guess born into a Christian home for sure. And I think during my teens sort of wrestled with, I mean, I think everyone's got to make that decision for themselves. You know, it doesn't matter what you're born into. It's like, what do you truly believe? And so, yeah, in my teens, like through those youth years, I guess, you know, had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and kind of had to work that out for myself.
You liked both scenes.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And I'm grateful that I had many lessons during that season of my life.
But grateful you kept a foot in.
And I'm just thankful, man. I'm so thankful for God's grace. Like, far out. I could be anywhere but here right now. And yeah, here I am. So pursuing Jesus like daily as best I can. Yeah.
Love it.
Ooh, what do we got next? And thanks, Angela, as well for that
Yes,
question.
thank you, Angela.
We could probably talk about that like for so long. But,
Oh, yeah.
this one's from
Jarvan?
Javan. Sorry if we pronounced your name
Yes,
wrong,
sorry.
but we're trying.
I get it. With my name, I get it. Do we have kids? No, but we have one on the way.
Well,
if you
yes, but they're just not out
haven't. Oh,
yet.
yes.
They're in the oven.
And one's in heaven. We do have a baby in heaven.
Yeah,
So.
which we talked about last episode.
Yeah, we did.
And, I mean, this wasn't asked in the question, do we want more kids?
It was a question? Or?
No, it wasn't in the, I'm just asking,
Oh.
answering this.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we just don't know how many. We're
Yeah.
not on the same page just yet. We'll see how one
We're
goes.
going to see how it goes.
Okay, cool. This one is, again, from Tyra, who's very cheeky.
Very cheeky.
Very cheekily asked,
It was probably influenced by her husband because he asks more.
and yeah, Ben and Tyra, our good friends from church and our worship leaders, worship pastors, directors.
Yep.
And they've got a beautiful little girl, and so they've been waiting for us to
Yep.
join the fun.
Join the girl gang and
So Tyra asked baby names.
baby names. Look, guys, I've had a running baby list for 20 years. And ever since we were talking about kids, I've been trying to have the conversation with Ryan. But he couldn't give me a serious answer until we actually fell pregnant. So,
Until we found out it was a girl.
yeah, actually.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Because
Even when we found out we're pregnant, I was like, so, names. Like, what if it's this? What if it's that? And he would just come out with,
And
because our last name's Bowles.
I'd be like, yeah.
how about Lawn? And I'm like, how about, what are some of the ones
I don't
you
know.
get?
That's an old one that I've used before.
Yeah.
There was a good one recently. I'll try and think of it.
It was.
But to answer the question,
We're not going to tell you.
you're not going to find out. No, not until she's born.
Yes, we have a name. We picked it the day we found out it was a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't told a soul.
Totally. No one knows.
No
So,
one.
Yep.
Actually, no one.
So you will find out. Keep listening to the podcast.
Yes, you will find out.
Make sure you
in roughly
subscribe.
7 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find out. We'll tell you all. You're out.
Subscribe to find
Good
more
grief,
baby
family.
names with Kaylee and Ryan.
Okay, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we'll let it slip.
Yep.
Do you travel in a van? And it might be a random question, but it's because I put a photo of us up
Yeah.
hanging out the back of a van when we asked this question.
We have twice.
Yeah. Once in New Zealand
Yep.
and once in Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah. So, no, we don't own a van.
No, we don't.
We don't travel in a van. Like, we've got a car. We live in a house.
But we've had good times in a van.
Yeah. We like a mixture of different adventures when we get to travel.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate hotels, but I also appreciate roughing it and showering out of a bucket and all sorts. And then, you know, I traveled in a
simple
van
life.
for about 6 years. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in a moment. So,
Yeah.
No, I wasn't homeless.
Good times.
But
Did I say that?
What?
Were
No,
you-
no.
Oh, you're just.
Yes, I traveled in a van for 6 years, but it wasn't because
Oh, yes, it wasn't because you were homeless. Yeah. All right. Where have we been that was interesting?
You know, I tried to think about like interesting in terms of quirky, weird, kind of. That's what I would love to share. Interesting. I'll actually something that comes to mind. We camped in a place called Girraween, which is in Queensland where we live, out west. And we'd heard things about Girraween and we'd seen some photos, but nothing compared to being there in real life. So Girraween is like, I don't know how you describe it. It's
Yeah, they described it as the Giants' playground.
That's right. They describe it as the Giants' playground. And the reason why is because there are these rock formations that are like giants have been playing with marbles.
Yeah.
And so...
And just like lifted them and put them in random places, like on
Yeah.
top of a pyramid
there's
rock.
There's a pyramid rock out there. So it hasn't been carved by humans. It's completely natural. One piece of
Granite.
granite. I think it's the largest piece of granite in the southern hemisphere, and you can climb this thing. It's quite grippy and it's steep in parts. And as you go up, there are just mega boulders
Yeah.
just sitting balanced on it. And at the top, there's this huge boulder that is balancing on about a foot of stone. Like it just comes
Yeah,
down
like
to
another. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
it comes down to about a foot, like
Yeah.
in diameter. And you can try and push this thing off, and it doesn't roll. And they're up on top of this flipping pyramid.
Yeah, which is hundreds of meters high.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's probably an interesting place that we've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And like when we went out
It's in our
there,
own country,
yeah.
which is
Yeah,
very cool.
totally.
I was trying to think of Europe or whatever, but I'm like, oh, I haven't been to any like
Well,
squeaky little small places yet that I'd like
what came to mind for you? Anywhere that would been interesting? Like, what did you think of?
No, I hadn't thought of anything
Nothing?
yet. No.
Okay. Yeah, I only just thought of that.
I,
Then,
I was trying to think like. I mean, yes, we've been many interesting places, but yeah, that's cool. I like it. We can leave it at that.
Cool. All right. What's something interesting about you that most people wouldn't know?
Well, in this audience, they probably wouldn't know that I was a costume seamstress for film and TV.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So before I met you, I was making costumes for, TV and movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, Thor Ragnarok, Aquaman, things like that. And then other more
TV shows.
local
around the
TV
world.
shows. Yeah, I'm a
Who wants to-
celebrity, get
yeah.
me out of here and stuff like that. Yeah.
So cool.
So I sew in my creative time
Yeah.
and I
Kaylee's
made some very cool things.
Kaylee's very close with Chris Hemsworth and
Oh, yeah.
Jason Momoa
Yeah, we
and
call
Johnny
every
Depp.
other day. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Can I have their number? Yeah, I love that.
What about you?
For me, most people wouldn't know that I was in a metal band.
Yeah.
And we played heavy stuff, and that's why I traveled in a van for 6 years. We toured Australia, New Zealand, the US, Canada, Japan, and we were a bunch of Christian guys writing music to influence quite a dark scene. It isn't known for its positivity and its light, so we'd share the gospel from stage, we'd hang out with kids, and we'd write music that had a message to influence and impact people.
Yeah. And we went through some of those comments on YouTube just before. And
Yeah, and the reason why is because Brendan in our group said, what's your old band's name? The name is Prepared Like a Bride, which comes out of Revelation 21.
Yep.
And yeah, we were going through some of those comments because it's 10 years this month since we released that album,
Yeah.
which just
After your
feels like a
dad
lifetime.
passed. Yeah.
Lifetime ago.
Yeah. And so just so cool to see the impact that song is still, like one particular song, Overcomer, that has footage of your dad in it and stuff. Just the impact that still has on people. Like people left a comment like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Like I come back to this because this song just helps me so much. And
gives me I shiver because we just didn't know at the time how much impact it would have, and then here we are 10 years later doing something completely different. Like we ain't a metal band,
no.
but we're talking about the same things, and
Yeah.
it's just a full circle moment.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very cool.
Okay, good question here from Floor. How and why did you launch Good Grief?
I mean, I gotta be real. It came from a toilet conversation.
I didn't know you were going to say that. It totally did. It's where the best conversations happen.
Yeah. We have a toilet down the hall from our office, and that's all you need to know. Conversation was being had about where we felt God was leading us next, and what he wanted us to do, and who he wanted us to help, and how he wanted us to impact this world. And the idea just dropped about how we could still be working together and how we could help people. Yeah. So whether it was like something we were good at, something we'd been
Totally.
through, the strength of ours,
Yeah.
skills, whatever. And then we just went, oh, we both lost a parent. Is that a thing? Can we help people with grief? Like, we've both had a
And, like,
different, but
shared experience, different but shared.
different experiences, but also I think quite like a wholesome journey.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not the only people that we've lost
No.
either. They're just
They're just the most
the closest
prevalent.
profound losses that we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people often ask, is this just for parent loss? And no, it's not. That's just our story.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
lost people to all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, and then some context, like we'd been asking God that question for months, like 6 to 10
It was
months.
like, I know it was like 9 to 12.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a long time. Like we'd spent a lot of time just on the floor in tears, going for walks, unsure of what we,
Where life was taking us
yeah,
next.
where God was leading us. So that's,
And we sought more purpose. Yeah.
yeah. So that's how this birthed. So thanks for the question.
Yeah. Thanks, Flo.
And yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
We're excited for what God's doing and what's next. So that's all I'll say there.
Yeah. We don't want to say too much.
Yeah. All right. Question.
Stay tuned.
Couple more and some biggies to come. So, in grief, do you find days that you're numb, low, and can't function?
You know what? I don't think that I really had many of those days. I think in those first few weeks, sure, definitely a bit numb and low in vibes. I'm a pretty high vibe person daily. So not a lot will get me down. I mean, even the death of my mum, I could still find joy in the day. I could still find a reason to smile, laugh, and I just didn't have, I don't think, many of those days. Yeah, definitely had moments. Don't get me wrong. But yeah.
And I mean, those, feeling low, numb, can't function, totally normal.
Oh, yeah.
Like my mum, I just vividly remember her saying she was numb, like body was physically numb. And I didn't feel a numbness. I definitely had days where I couldn't function, like I'd stay in bed and different and like completely low and so forth. I didn't have the numbness, but I couldn't relate to mum. She was like, I just feel numb. And I'm like, I understand that from an injury standpoint, like I've injured myself and been numb, but totally normal. And so great question here. I guess I want to provide the other side of that like my mum, was numb for a long time.
A long time.
And now she's no longer numb. Now she can function properly. Now
and has for a few years.
That's right. Yeah. And so her low days are way less than her high days, a thought that someone shared with us recently that I really thought was such an awesome frame of mind to take on was that our worst days are somebody else's best days.
Yeah. I mean, that'd, totally be true for me.
Our worst days are somebody else's best days. And everybody's in that position. Your bottom of the barrel day is somebody else's top. And that, for me, helps me like just shift my heart, my mind to go, yeah, it's tough, but somebody else has got it tougher right now. And so I can take something away from that and just continue to put one foot in front of the other and move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so good.
Whew.
Last one?
Yeah.
All right. How did you get past your grief? So this person, it's been 3 months since they lost their son. Feels like pain is getting worse. They can't see past the pain to see a future that's not riddled with hollow aches in their heart.
Man, I don't know what it would be like to lose a child. And so I just think, man, it's only been 3 months. What you're feeling is totally normal. And I think there'll always be a hole in your heart for the person that you lost. Yeah, I'm 10 years on from
11.
I'm 11 years on, and I think till the day I die, there'll always be a piece of me that is no longer. That's the fact, because that relationship won't continue in the physical sense. The relationship will continue because I continue to remember and honor and love and, my dad, and continue that. But it can't continue physically because he isn't here. And so that does leave an empty space. And so, I think Deborah, who sort of asked this question, you've got to grieve the loss of your son. That's going to be one of the heaviest losses that you'll take. And you've got to grieve that. You've got to feel it.
Yeah, you've got to feel the feels.
And 3 months is nothing. And so that's not to say there's a timeline, because there isn't, but it's your son. There will be a time when you look back and you go, wow, I'm in a way better place now than I was 3 years ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago. You'll get there, and you'll only realize once you get there. You can't see it from where you are now looking forward. Only once you look back, you'll say, wow, I've made one small step, or look how far I've come. I'm able to go outside my door. I'm able to mention his name and not break down. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's our normal response. You'll be able to bring his name up and laugh, or share something that he was passionate about or that he gave his life to. But that's part of the process.
Yeah. I was listening to one of my birth podcasts that I'm listening to, and it's just a similar thing that refers to many different scenarios. And it's inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just think that's so relevant to grief. You just need to take it inch by inch, day by day. Just one thing each day that you can do to get yourself closer, better, happier, whatever it is. But if you try big things too fast, it's going to feel really hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you say that one more time?
Inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, so incremental progress versus big leaps. Totally. And I think as the timeline does progress, your progress gets larger faster.
Yeah, totally.
But it's like a bell curve.
Yes.
You're starting at the bottom, like you've just been punched in the gut.
Start slow, really gradual, and all of a sudden you don't even realize, but you're on this exponential curve up. Yeah.
Totally. Wow. That was the last question that we had for this episode. It's been big. We finished big.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you've learnt something about us. Hopefully you've learnt something that's helpful for your own grief and your own journey.
Totally.
We love hanging out with you guys through podcast.
Yeah.
And so
we love sharing things. We love learning new things to share with you. We love interviewing people.
Totally.
To share their stories with you, because we know that so many of you are just after hearing more people's stories that you can relate with, to know that you're not alone.
Yeah, so you're not alone. Kaylee and I love you all the world, and we're here every step of the way with you. If you want to connect further with us and you're not already part of our Good Grief support group, come join us on Facebook. The conversations in there are real. There are people that you can relate to, whether it was your child, whether it was your spouse, your family, your pet. Like, come and hang out in there. And we've got some exciting things coming up.
We do.
That we'll probably talk about in
soonish.
The next podcast or two. So keep an ear out for that, as well as our baby name.
Yes.
when that drops.
Which will be a few weeks after that.
And until next time, big love from both of us.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye for now.
Love you lots.